It's time for the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Each week, Trading Stocks Made Easy demystifies stock trading and investing so you can profit big. And now, here's the host of Trading Stocks Made Easy, the wealthy investor, Tyrone Jackson.
Well, hello there. It's Tyrone Jackson. Welcome back to another episode of Trading Stocks Made Easy. You know how much I enjoy this time we have together, and today's episode is going to be about 5 trading tips for 2019. So, cozy on up, and we're going to make some great things happen here. All right, so let's get into some things I think you need to know about the stock market, what's going on right now. You know the Wealthy Investor Program is all about building wealth, meaning holding stocks for a certain period of time, and residual income. And we derive our residual income from actually trading stocks, buying and selling. But with everything that we went through in 2018, the rules for moving forward for 2019 are a little bit different. That's because the marketplace has changed. Okay? So if you're one of those people that still hasn't opened an online brokerage account, what are you waiting for? Because there's some terrific things that are actually going on in the stock market right now. There are companies that have revenue that is just starting to grow substantially. So why don't I give you a couple of these tips, things that you need to know, whether you're in the market now or whether you're not in the market. There is money to be made if you are patient, okay? So many of you have trading accounts. Therefore, you already understand the idea that selling covered calls pulls in $200 a month, $2,000 a month, even $15,000 a month, as long as you're willing to execute that trade with discipline. And when I say with discipline, it doesn't mean that if you're consistently pulling in $2,000 that all of a sudden you're ready to make the jump to $20,000. What a lot of people don't understand is when we're trading, we're getting a return on the money that we actually have in the market. So if you start with $10,000, then you're trying to get a return on that $10,000. If you start trading with $10,000, you're not going to make $1 million. Why? Because it's very difficult to make $1 million on a $10,000 investment in 7 days, right? We're all mature enough to understand that. So 2019, I see the market advancing a little bit slower because there's still caution in the air based on some of the tariffs and negative things that actually happened at the tail end of 2018. So here are some things that I want you to remember and really adhere to, particularly if you're already trading using the Wealthy Investor approach, and it's in no particular order. So here's number one. Number one, don't overtrade your account. Now, here's what happens. People start making money selling covered calls, a little volatility trading, and collecting dividends, and then they think to themselves, you know, I made good money last month. If I could trade twice as much, I would earn twice as much income. And that is absolutely 100% untrue. So for example, when you first start covered call writing, your call options that you're selling should be somewhere between 2 and 4 weeks. That means if I'm buying XYZ stock today and I'm selling a 2-week call, my money is locked up for 2 weeks and I'm waiting to see if the other party on the opposite side of the trade actually wants the shares from me. So there's no way to accelerate that process. I have to be willing to be patient. But since most of my listeners and most of my students come from working class backgrounds and they've discovered trading, there's this association with busyness creating more income. Now, busyness only creates more income when you're trading time for dollars, right? So if you have a job and someone pays you money to work overtime, those extra hours generate more money. It doesn't work that way in the world of wealth because your money is generating a consistent return that has nothing to do with time. So don't look to be busier with your trades because that's when you start doing silly things or trades that are higher risk that can lose you money really, really quickly, like trading 90-day options. That is a no-no. It seems like maybe you'd make more money that way, but 90% of the time you're going to lose money. Number 2, focus on investing. Now, I know that this is weird because the Wealthy Investor Program is all about trading and investing. People fall in love with trading. Oh my God, look at all this money that's coming into my account. I want to be busier, but I don't have more money to trade with. So they graduate themselves to higher risks trades instead of holding stocks for 5 years or more. Now, it seems like, Tyrone, you're asking me to actually hold stocks for 5 years? I don't have 5 years to learn how to be independently wealthy in the stock market and have financial freedom. And the answer is, oh yeah, you do. You really do have 5 years. Now, why 5 years? Well, I've noticed this very interesting pattern in the stock market that if you hold certain stocks, particularly the stocks that I recommend, for 5 years, they have a tendency to double in price. So imagine if you started your trading account with, let's say, $30,000, and within a 5-year period, that account is worth $60,000 or more. Guess what? The time that you spent holding really good stocks where the revenue was growing did most of the work for you so that now you can produce a higher rate of return because you've held particularly Dow stocks for a longer period of time. No matter how wealthy you want to be, you must develop the discipline of patience and holding stocks because that's really what's going to get you there. So when you are investing in a stock, you should not be logging to your account every single day looking to see if that stock was up $3 or down $3, right? Investing is about the value of those shares in the future. I often say when I'm teaching live that trading and investing ultimately comes down to a game between you and you, because if you cannot master patience, then you cannot hold assets that have the greatest probability of going higher. So for example, if I say Boeing, ticker symbol BA, Amazon.com, AMZN, and ticker symbol HD, which is Home Depot, these are all stocks that have more than doubled in a 5-year period. In other words, they help people get rich. But if you cannot sit and be patient during that time, guess what? You'll always be looking for the next trade, and therefore you won't really have any wealth. So part of this wealthy investor approach to the stock market requires that you are always willing to be patient and give yourself time for your long-term stocks to actually rise. Number 3, the other tip that I really wanted to give you is we're in a market right now where certain companies are growing their online sales. They're building their communities and they're getting millions and millions of people to purchase their products and services online. And what I find really fascinating, many of these companies are actually publicly traded. And some of these stocks are still around $50, but the revenue is starting to show up as a form of exponential growth. Now, why do I bring that to you? Because Amazon is already at $1,600 a share, right? MasterCard is already at $200 a share. Our job is to always find those companies that have the revenue growth now in the $60, maybe $70 range that are on their way to being worth $200, $300 in the future. When? 5 years from now. And that's the pattern that I'm seeing in the market right now. It's about investing in companies that are growing their online communities and growing their revenues. So purchasing shares of Amazon.com right now and expecting them to go from $1,600 to $5,000, well, I think you already missed that run-up. That's not to say that Amazon shares won't go higher in the future, but it's probably not going to have its greatest growth ahead. Why? Because those revenues are stabilizing now, and we're starting to see, let's say, 5, 10, 15% revenue growth year over year, as opposed to 40% revenue growth year over year. So the hunt for you and I is really for those companies that are just starting to show substantial revenue growth or e-commerce growth online. And those are the companies that we want to own, not only for the growth, but because they make the best what? Takeover targets by the larger companies. As I always like to say in the stock market, the big fish acquire or eat the little fish on a regular basis. Back with a few more tips right after you take a listen to this.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't know which stocks to choose for trading in today's market? No problem. Just follow Tyrone Jackson's hot stock picks inside WITradeschool.com. At WITradeschool.com, you could also follow Tyrone's weekly stock market tutorials and investing advice. Plus, each week you can submit your trading and investing questions directly to our staff, and Tyrone will answer them as part of our weekly video Q&A sessions. Begin your membership right now and you'll get instant access to WITradeschool.com's video library. That means you'll get to know all of Tyrone's major and minor trading strategies, including covered call writing and volatility trading for fast, sexy profits. Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. In addition to a successful podcast, Tyrone's editorial content has been featured on CBSMoneyWatch.com, NASDAQ.com, and YahooFinance.com. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's red-hot stock trades and investment strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
Easy Podcast. Want to learn more about how to trade and invest in the stock market? Visit thewealthyinvestor.net/products. That's thewealthyinvestor.net/products and order the Wealthy Investor's Guide to Stock Market Success audio series. This easy-to-follow 5-CD audio series and manual will teach you the basics of how to buy and sell stocks, how to collect quarterly dividends for life, plus hidden income generating strategies like covered call writing and volatility trading. Start creating financial freedom right now. Get the financial education you need to get ahead. Visit thewealthyinvestor.net/products.
And welcome back. So we were talking about some tips that I wanted to pass on to you for 2019 in a market that will move slower, and that you shouldn't be trying to speed up your covered call income. As long as you're selling calls that are two weeks out or 30 days out, your job is to be consistent. Now, this next tip is one that a lot of people really don't want to hear. I think there's a kind of get-rich-quick component to trading in the stock market, which is why a lot of people are attracted to things like penny stocks, which I totally am against. There's way too much speculation in penny stocks. However, one of the things that I think is really interesting is if you're willing to put, let's say, $5,000 or $10,000 in a brokerage account, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, and you're willing to add to that brokerage account every single month, as your long-term stocks are rising in value and you're selling covered calls and you're making a deposit, you are giving yourself more and more capital to work with every 30, 60, and 90 days. I can't tell you how many emails I get at thewealthyinvestor.net where people say, hey, Tyrone, I have $2,200. I'd like to be a millionaire by next month. That's just simply not going to happen. And then they write back and they say, well, if I work really hard, I can scrape together $2,700. Can I be half a millionaire by next month? No. Investing takes time. Now, it doesn't take forever. Because I've seen people put $30,000 in the stock market within 3 years. They don't have to work anymore. But what were they? They were patient and they were constantly adding to their brokerage account in terms of cash contributions. Now, this notion of cash contributions is really important. A lot of people say, but I don't really want to keep putting money in my brokerage account and giving myself more cash to work with. But if you notice, this formula works extremely well if you have a 401k. Why is it that some of you have a very large 401k? Let's think about this one together. The reason is because you spent 2 to 5 years contributing to that 401k and your employer was matching you. You see, if that math is proven to work on the retirement side, it's equally proven to work in your cash account. Because in your cash account, you not only have your contribution that you put in initially, your monthly contribution, but if you're using margin, that is more capital to work with. You know, it's almost like today's, one of the themes that's running to today's show is patience, patience, patience. It really does get you there. Finally, don't look at the stock market as your personal greed machine. Because if you start playing this game for greed, the market, which I rarely talk about on this show, but it will take your money like that. So sometimes people think they found some stock for $7 that they swear is on its way to $700, and they don't realize that stocks that don't have stable earnings are very susceptible to manipulation. Now, there are all kinds of manipulative schemes in the stock market that people inside the United States play and people who are not inside the United States play with these smaller name stocks. And then one of the most common themes is something called pump and dump. I'm not talking about earnings pump and dump. Some of you know that's more of an institutional thing. It's just pump and dump. So when there's a stock that has a small float, that has no name to it and no revenue, and you can't find any research, and that stock is all over the place, it's because there could be 50 bloggers who've convinced people that this stock is on its way to $50, and they say, we recommend this stock now at 7, it's on its way to 10. And those 50 bloggers have decided to sell their shares at 11 while convincing the public it's on its way to $50. If 50 bloggers conspired together to move the stock from 7 to 11 and they all sell, guess what's happened? The stock is going to reverse, right? There's a lot of manipulation that goes on in the digital world when it comes to stock prices. This is one reason why I always say if you follow top-line revenue, either on a quarterly or an annual basis, you are following fundamentals, and you can never fall victim to some online digital scheme. Okay? So there's a lot of manipulations in stocks that are, let's say, under $20, which is one reason I would never, ever play there. Now, if you want to win in the stock market, you want to be patient. And you want to be patient and own the stocks that what? That the larger institutions own. Why? Because they're playing with a lot of big money. And what are those stocks that the larger institutions own? Companies that comprise the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the S&P 500. A lot less manipulation there and a lot of long-term money committed by banks, insurance companies, and college endowments for the future value of that stock. All right, that's going to do it for me. Remember, in 2019, patience is the key. But remember, 2 to 5 years for complete financial freedom, not exactly an eternity. I help people do it. I see people do it all the time. Walk with me in 2019. Follow my recommendations if you don't want to do a lot of research on your own, because the stocks that I recommend generally are on their way to increasing 100% or more within a 5-year period. It's just a methodology that I've perfected and I pass on to you. Hey, thanks for spending some time with me here. Remember, all of the money that you earn in this lifetime is based on 2 things: your beliefs about what is possible and your financial education. This is Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, saying stay open, stay positive. The best is yet to come.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't understand how to write covered calls for monthly income? No problem. Simply review Tyrone's latest stock trades in our video library as many times as you need. WITradeschool.com is all about helping you get the financial education you need to earn money in the stock market and change your financial life. Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's red-hot stock trades and investment strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
You've been listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. While you're on iTunes, be sure to click the subscribe button and you'll automatically receive our next episode.